I'm King of RevaHealth.com, and I want to share with you today one of the easiest and simplest ways that we've found to increase your click-through rate and therefore decrease the cost per click in Google AdWords or any other pay-per-click system on any of the major search engines. One of the things I'd like to say before we get started is that there are other things that are far more important than what I'm going to talk about today. For example, getting your message in the advert is far more important than what we're talking about, and getting your bids right is more important. But this is by far the simplest, quickest and cheapest way to increase your click-through rate, and hopefully these 3 tips I'm going to give you will allow you to do your business better. So what we're talking about today is about how to use the real estate that Google, Yahoo and Microsoft give you to effectively create an advert that allows the click-through rate to be maximized. Now, each one of these search engines give you very, very prescriptive rules in terms of the amount of characters you're allowed for your header, the amount of characters you're allowed for your body, and the amount of characters you're allowed for the URL. In the case of Google, it's 25 characters for your header, 70 characters in total for your body, and further 35 characters for your URL. And a lot of people mistakenly assume that therefore space doesn't matter, that the space has been taken off the equation. And what we found is actually, if you look at maximizing the amount of real estate that you use on the screen, you can dramatically affect your click-through rate, and you can do this very quickly and very simply. So the 3 rules which I'd like to bring to you today is use every character. Google gives you those 25 characters in the header, 70 in the body, 35 in the URL, and try to use every single one of them. Now, don't try and do it at the expense of your message. Make sure your message is right. But once you've got your message right, try and fill it out, each one of those sections as much as possible, because the more characters you put in, the bigger your ad will be compared to your competitor, the more attention it will get, and the greater of a chance it has in converting through to a click-through. The second thing is take advantage of bolding. And this is probably the most powerful of all of the 3 suggestions. If the user types in a keyword that is in your AdWords, that word in your advert will be bolded by Google. And that's done automatically, it just happens. And that attracts the eye. So the more bold words that you can get in your advert, the more attention it's going to get, the greater the click-through rate. And our general internal guidelines here is try and get the keywords into the title, once into the title, try and get them once into the body, and try and get them once into the URL. Now, of course, it's not always possible, but it's good to try and aim for those things. The next thing is capital letters. Capital letters adds height to each one of your lines. That's using the real estate effectively. Now, Google puts in terms and conditions that forbids you putting every single word in capital, otherwise all the ads on the system would end up looking like ransom notes. But it does allow you to make the first letter in every word capitalized, and we'd highly advise you go about doing that. So what I'd like to show you now is a worked example of a search that we performed in Google for dentists in Hungary. And these are the 3 adverts that appeared up. And the first one here, dentist in Hungary, the second one, dentist in Budapest, and the third one, here, which is our own advert for RevaHealth.com. And if we look at each one of them, we can see how well they obey our guidelines here. So the first one here gets 2 nice bold words into the title. That's really good, getting those 2 bold words in the title, best place to get the bold words. But they don't effectively use the length of that. They've given away for free 5 characters. They could have made this 5 characters long, as we have here. We put in the word find, and that extends the length of our ad, grabs more attention. If we look here at the body, they don't get any keywords in that body, whereas we get 2 keywords in our body, 2 more bold words. And if we look at their URL, they get 1 in the URL, and we get a longer URL in, and we get 2 in our URL. And then the second example, this is an example of something that's really quite a poor example of use of it. They only have 1 word bolded, very short, the body is short, the URL is short. They could have used that URL to much more effect than they actually did there at all. So I hope you found today useful. I hope you found this useful, and hopefully this will increase your click-through rate. Once again, I'd stress, don't go about doing these at the expense of the message in your ad.